Hi guys, welcome back to the channel of love. I'm not sure that I'm going to go into what's happened in my time of the gap the gap between recording part two. So it's basically the reading that I read has just happened to me. I didn't want to go into it, but now I feel like I'm going to go. I'm going to give you a really quick description of what's gone on. Basically, I uploaded this reading like so that you guys could see it when I arrived at my destination. Anyway, so I get off of my reading. This is the brief story. And then we should carry on with the reading. I get off of the reading and I'm just sitting here and I'm thinking, well, because tomorrow I'm off of work and so are both of my daughters and so are both of my daughters' partners. We're spending, well, I will see them all. We'll all be together at some point tomorrow. And I felt the urge I need to go food shopping. And I felt the urge, like, to say to my eldest daughter, would you like to go food shopping? And, it's on me, I'll pay for it. So, just a nice thing to do. And I felt the urge, I want to pay for my daughter's grocery shopping this week. It helps them out and I can, and it's a nice thing to do. And I felt the urge to do it. So I go to message her and she sent me a message. Now, I had seen her earlier, which wasn't intended, apart from her partner came into my work and saw me and said pop by after work. So I did, but when I got there, they were just going out with their friends. So I left them so that they could go out, and that was that. I come home, done my recording, and then I went to message her to say, hey, should we go shopping tomorrow? And, I'll pay for it. It's on me. And she had already sent me a message saying, I've only just managed to go out because we had to go back because a bird pooed on my head. Now, for me, this was like, well, that's a sign that it's lucky. So I video call her and she's out with her friends. And I just said, what does it mean when like a bird poos on your head? And she said, it's meant to mean that you're going to get, good luck. And I said, and I was thinking about, paying for your shopping. And that was that. Was that? I think that was that. I think at that time she said to me, we're actually near you. We're walking near you and we're going to the park if you want to meet us. So I say, yes, I'm free because my video was uploading. I said to her, I'll leave my phone at home because my videos needs to upload, and I wanted it to be connected to the Wi-Fi rather than, your 4G. So this is no, keep it brief, Lucy. It's all right. Carry on. So I go to the park. Now, first of all, I thought they were on a bench, so I started walking that way. And when I got a bit closer, I realised it wasn't them. So I quickly just turned, and I noticed over in the corner of this field, a light was kind of glowing in the corner. So I go over, and it's like there's a circle. First of all, I said, "What? This looks like a sacred circle." They were all sitting in a circle, and the only feminine there was my daughter. My daughter and her partner, who the group call the mum and dad of the group, they're like the sensible, wise ones. They've kind of got their shit together. That's how the group view my daughter and her partner. So divine masculine, divine feminine, twin flame energy. But they serve this coven of theirs, but the coven can be quite challenging. Let's say that. Tearaways, I suppose. We've picked up on the energy. Well, I've picked up on the energy of children like misbehaving, and I feel like they were having the night off, yeah, and they called in like the grandmother energy. So I get there and there's this sacred circle there, and there's alcohol and there's smoking and there's rave music and there's lights and they're having their little kind of rave going on, and well, it was a good evening. This morning I was told by Divine, it was like, go and have a fantastic day because tonight you'll be celebrating. So basically, I'm hanging out with all these guys, and my daughter and her partner are pretty much just chilled, just sitting there, and I'm interacting with the others, and they were all masculines. And how many was there? Let me just count in my head because I know all their names. I asked them. There was, I believe there was 7 males and 2 females. At one point, 3 of us were dancing. It was a good evening. I had a drink. Okay, it makes me happy. I don't need a lot. And but I did maybe have half a can. That's enough for me. And the energy was good, and everyone was just really vibing. And then all of a sudden, one of them he started pointing to the sky, and he spoke a different language, so I couldn't quite understand him. But he just got up and just kind of dashed over to my daughter and her partner and said, and pointing to the sky, was actually kind of pointing to a tree, because I'm looking to see what's he pointing at, and I couldn't see anything. But those 3 actually saw the sky light up red, and then it went black again, then it lit up red again, and it's like it landed in the tree. My ears had just started ringing, so I was just going to say, when I got home, before doing this reading, I've actually listened to the reading that I uploaded, and it spoke about there was an owl in the tree with orange eyes. Anyway, 3 of us didn't see it because one was actually one of the gang. Yeah, there must have been 8, 9 of us all together. One had gone. One, for some reason, was hiding in the bushes. Very bizarre. And us that were left, 3 of us didn't see it because we were the ones dancing, and 3 of them did see it, and it was just amazing. And then my daughter, when she got home, she said, look at this, and it was something about UFOs, because she said, I swear it looked like a spaceship, Mum. I'm like, you're being watched. Totally forgot really about my reading until I've come home and listened to it, about kind of dashing in, being the hero for the coven. Anyway, it ended with, after that stopped the music, everyone stood up, and then it was kind of like, we're all going home now. The funny thing is, I got them to kind of pick up their litter, and I got to talk to some of them who are kind of mischievous, you know. If you could use your imagination and imagine the look on my face, or I'm not saying my thoughts, but my beliefs about behaviour, when you kind of see footage of emptying litter on a street and finding it funny, and I've just made them pick up their litter, then I see the footage of, well, look at him dropping the litter here, and I said, you mustn't do that. And then proudly shows me how he's broken a park bench, a wooden bench, and I said, you've got to learn to love nature. That's like, we've all got to share this, we've all got to live in this world. And when they actually was walking out of the park coming to the light, one of them had like a massive cut on his eye, and I said, what's the cut on your eye from? He told me about how he had like stolen a shop. Well, he hadn't, it had already been stolen. They had a shopping trolley and was messing around with it. And I said, why do you think that happened? And first of all, it was because he was pushing the trolley. And I said, why do you think that happened? And he said, because I was acting like an idiot. I said, you've got to stop it. I said, you've got to be a role model. I mean, these guys are in their 20s now. I said, you've got to be a role model for the younger generation. This stuff isn't funny. So I've been out there and kind of been I don't know, was that the crone energy? I feel it was more the mother energy coming through. I mean, I cuddled them all goodbye. The one who actually saw the light in the sky first, when I cuddled him, I kind of left him to last. I know the others. And I said, would you like a hug? And I hugged him. I said, you haven't been hugged in a long time. So that's what I've been up to. Okay? I've been a raving. Like in a sacred circle. I mean, it was more in depth. There was more that went on, and well, this is, yeah. Anyway, it's part of the process. Right, it is 10:10 on the clock. Let me have some of my. Oh, I've got something else to tell you as well. The signs and synchronization. Seriously, guys, how long have I been gone? It can't have been like more than 2 hours. And I've ate a beautiful dinner. Okay, also, but what I noticed is that I wasn't planning on doing this triple goddess spread until I read the back of the Witch's Tarot. Now, I was going to rest my phone on the Witch's Tarot box earlier on my first reading, but I wanted to read the back of the box, so I used a book that was at hand. So the phone is basically, it's not on my bed because my bed is made of feathers, so you'll be quite muffled in now, and then you may fall asleep. I don't know. So if I rest it on a box or a flat surface, hopefully I sound better than if you were kind of buried into the duvet. Oh my goodness. You know this is all signs. So currently, right now for this reading, you are face down against the Moon card, which is the front of the box for the Witch's Tarot. I thought that was interesting. So your face, you can't see it because it's so close, but the crone's there. And we're just about to read those cards, but we have to finish with the Mother's cards first. So let's go back to what I was saying. So previously, I chose to use a book to put my phone on. When I finished recording and I've lifted up my phone, the book that I've rested the phone on is called Goddesses Never Age by Dr. Christina Northrup. The secret prescription for radiance, vitality and well-being. And I thought, well, if that's not a sign. And also one of the Sacred Spirit reading cards kind of slid off the top of the deck. I did turn it over and have a look. And the card is card number 16, Expansion. Educate your mind and senses. So let me flick through this book that you've been resting on. We can say it like that. Because the signs, they're just signs galore. Okay, let me just have a flick through this book and we will. Interesting, what's this we're talking about? I'm going to have to go back because the words I was taken to, with hands behind your thighs. that's what it says at the top of the page. Goddesses move joyously. I had made mention about the Divine Feminine. She is grace. She is graceful. So, but I'm not sure we should start with hands behind your thighs. Kick your legs away from your chest while resisting the kick with the hands on the back of your thighs. These sound like directions. Oh, notice how this feels in the small of your back. You can also use resistance while doing yoga poses, tensing your muscles to get a better stretch. You'll be able to feel the areas where you have dense, how do I say this word? Fascia. It will feel tight and restricted and maybe a little painful. If you mindfully tense your muscles and stretch, you will soon find that you can move in new, freer patterns. And as you tense your muscles and I just feel this is sexual. And when I get that feeling, I want sexual healing. Oh. I don't know how you pronounce this word. Fascia? Anyway. And as you tense your muscles and stretch them in these planes over time, you'll see that the dense fascia remodels. The only way to make muscles more flexible is to learn how to stretch them at the same time you're contracting them, thus breaking up dense facial patterns. I don't know what this word is. Facial. Notice that animals do this all the time. Well, I'm not sure what we are talking about. Anyway, we're actually going to read. Okay, that was quite nice because that was a nice little side distraction. Should we say that? I've opened up to many forms of shame. Goddess says grieve, rage, and move on. Fear and anger are like weeds that feed on shame, and shame is a toxin we need to release if we want to be ageless. Again and again, we get the message that our needs aren't important and that we're being selfish and bad if we take care of ourselves. No wonder we're afraid to feel our emotions. A patient of mine once told me, in my household, I was so certain I wasn't wanted, I was afraid of breathing deeply because I might take up oxygen other people needed. Guilt serves a purpose, waking us up to something we need to correct, but shame is downright poisonous. Brené Brown distinguishes between guilt and shame this way. Guilt is feeling you made a mistake, while shame is feeling you are a mistake. That said, healthy shame serves the purpose of alerting us when we've truly been selfish and even cruel. It creates good boundaries between people and leads us to create a balance between our needs and those of the people around us. Our conscience makes us feel ashamed when we've acted shamelessly, oblivious to anyone else's feelings and needs. However, unjustified shame is very different. It is hands down the most destructive and painful emotion that we humans are capable of feeling. It drains us of life force and creativity. Our energy goes to hating ourselves instead of to self-correcting, and we forget that, like everyone else, we deserve love and acceptance. Too many women are terrified of taking risks and making a mistake, socially or otherwise, because they fear other people shaming them, and no wonder, it happens all the time. Women are shamed for just about everything. They are especially shamed for not being perfect, being too thin or too fat, too beautiful or too plain, too bubbly or too serious, too emotionally expressive or too cold, and of course, too sexy or too unsexy. You can't win if you're trying to please the perfection police. Mary Pfeiffer, author of Reviving Ophelia, Saving the Selves of Adolescent Girls, Putnam 1994, and others have pointed out that as teenagers, girls start to realise they can never achieve that balance of perfection that's expected of them, and their self-esteem plummets. It seems no matter what we do, there's plenty of public shaming to keep us from flourishing. We're even shamed sometimes just for feeling happy. A woman was telling me the other day that at her meditation centre, the group was instructed to meditate on equality in honour of some civil rights legislation breakthrough that had just occurred. Afterward, the meditators shared their experiences. One of the men said he had meditated on all the work that still had to be done and expressed how depressing and upsetting it was for him to hear people celebrating the new law when its scope was so limited. He was in essence shaming those who were looking on the bright side. How dare you feel happy when there's still so much more to be done? This was a blatant example of what I call the moral superiority of pessimism, making everyone feel as though they had no right to celebrate while others were still suffering. Happiness shouldn't be shamed. It's crucial to your health and happiness that you learn to spot this kind of manipulation the moment it's happening and not allow yourself to get sucked in. Let's look at the logic here. You can't actually get sick enough to help those who are sick. You can't get sad enough to help those who are sad. And you can't get poor enough to help those who are destitute. The belief that suffering somehow makes us holier or superior is rooted in what is called the zero-sum model that runs most of Western culture, the system that says resources are limited. So if you get more, someone else will have to go without. This is simply not true, and it comes to the currency of health and happiness. The next chapter is Shame Holds You Back, but we're going to go to these cards. Okay, 21 minutes and a few seconds, I don't know, 6, 7 seconds. So we finished with the Knight of Swords in the last reading. I felt like he was charging towards his desires, or her desires, because I resonated very much about what just happened, and it was kind of predicted in this reading, the energy of a coven. Anyway, people that have hit rock bottom. Let's carry on with the third card from the Empress here, which is the Mother energy, and we have the King of Swords. Now that's interesting, because when you have the kings and you've got the knights, that king has sent out that knight into action. So let's read this card. The King of Swords. All that's coming through is I have an idea. Okay. The King of Swords is a handsome middle-aged man with brown hair, moustache and beard. His eyes are dark and attentive, and he has a serious and thoughtful expression, as if he is carefully considering the matter before him. The king sits on a throne that is carved with hawks in an interwoven design. Behind the throne, we can see green trees, a blue sky and windswept mountains. The King of Swords wears a spiky golden crown of knowledge with magical blue topaz blue topaz stones in it. I'm telling you, I'm reading, but I'm automatic reading because my head's still going away to what's just happened. Because I remember not just 3 of us were dancing, I noticed my daughter had stood up and she were kind of jigging on the spot, but she was the second to see the sky. So it's like she had to stand up to be that level to see it when this other one kind of dashed over to them. And there was something else I was going to say as well, but I can't remember what that is. Right. Oh yes, I do remember, and I will make mention of it because I was actually going to just put like the cards, because I didn't look at the cards. Well, I haven't looked at the cards. I've just left them on the bed and I went out, and now I'm back at them. So I was going to put them down on the floor and actually like go to bed, and but I felt the energy of I'm waiting for part 2, so I didn't feel that was a wise thing to do, to keep like the masculine energy waiting for this portion. So yeah. So the king sits on a throne that is carved with hawks, and that's what it took me. It's like eagle-eyed, hawk-eyed, whatever-eyed. The king sits on a throne that is carved with hawks in an interwoven design. Behind the throne we can see green trees, a blue sky and windswept mountains. The King of Swords wears a spiky golden crown of knowledge with magical blue topaz stones in it. Topaz stones bring truth and forgiveness and help to illuminate your path. His armour is elegant and well used, as is befitting for a king. This king announces his associations to the element of air with a yellow tunic and golden cape trimmed in feathers. I spoke about my bed. And also today, when I was walking to work, I actually apologised for stepping on a feather. And it was like, no, Lucy, we're like walking with you all day today. And it was the energy of, you know, you go to work, have a fantastic day, and tonight you'll be celebrating. So it's kind of all just unfolded. And I think there's just no attachment to the messages because they're all just so amusing. They're just, and they're so continuous that you kind of let go of the message earlier in the day and kind of just go with the flow. There's no attachment to it. You're not really looking out for it. You've acknowledged the message, and then it manifests. And okay, let's carry on. So this king announces his associations to the element of air with a yellow tunic and golden cape trimmed in feathers. Do you feel the energy here? The masculine has an idea, but it's kind of his energy coming through like myself directing me. I do feel they were directions, but it's getting the balance, isn't it? You know, between, you know, your sex life and your service life, your family life, and your coven life. Okay, takes me to like the 4 elements, and I'm sure the next reading was called the 4 elements reading, but we're on this reading, so let's carry on. So in his right hand he holds up the sword of truth, and sunlight gleams off the sword. He sits at attention on his throne and looks as if he will move forward quickly and decisively if action is called for. In his other gloved hand he holds a hooded peregrine falcon. The falcon that sits lightly on his hand is calmly waiting for the moment to go hunting. The falcon symbolises swiftness, accuracy and cunning, and it encourages us to be ready to act at the most opportune time for the greatest success. Okay, what does this mean? The King of Swords is an authority figure. When this card soars into a reading, you need to be aware that your actions may be called into question. This is the card for rulers, leaders, and the welders of justice. The King of Swords has links to the Emperor and the Justice cards, as the King of Swords concerns himself with matters of right and wrong, and also personal integrity and honour. It's definitely my Emperor energy, but blended so beautifully with the Empress, the goddess energy that come through tonight. I really did feel like I was giving my kids, well, my daughter's partner is my kid. I felt like they're all my kids. It's like a responsibility, but just very interesting interaction. This card quietly calls into question the wisdom of your personal choices, and he also announces that it is time to turn your knowledge into action. This man sees the world in black or white. There are no shades of grey for him. He is successful, clever, reserved, and a tad intellectual. He has a good head for business and may be a member of the armed forces, a security guard, a detective, or a police officer. The King of Swords also represents a mature man with brown hair and dark eyes who values his integrity above all else. He relies heavily on his common sense and believes in only what can be proven. Like the best kings of old, he is a wise and fair leader who sits in judgment because he must, and who is ready to defend his kingdom should the situation deem it necessary. The lesson of the King of Swords is to turn your knowledge into action while remaining fair and just. The keywords: an air sign man, authority, a fair leader, judgment, justice, reason, logic, truth, ethics, honour, swiftly turning knowledge into action. Okay. Very interesting, especially as I felt the presence was, there was a sacred circle, and then after the light in the sky that they witnessed and were absolutely like amazed by, that there was like, it did sound like there was a bombing taking place. Bangs in the sky in the distance. Sounded like fireworks, but we couldn't see anything, but they were protected anyway, whatever was going on. But I felt the energy of where they kind of said, you know, we're gone behind the tree, and I felt the energy of like actually that it was in the tree. Right, let's carry on. We are now moving over to the crone energy, the moon. What you're face to face with, okay, with the camera. The first card is, because we've been on for 31 minutes and 5 seconds, we have the Seven of Pentacles. Let's read this. You know, it describes what's going on. I just need to read and get the message out and get gone. That's what's coming through. I need to read this message out and get gone. Be get gone. What's that mean? I seem to be open on page 169. Be get gone. Okay. Oh, he has an idea. So, Seven of Pentacles. Let's do this reading first. That's the energy, is that this reading needs to come out because, I don't know, we're going to receive some downloads, upgrades. A dark-haired young man stands next to a tall, lush and green leafy plant. On the plant are 7 golden pentacles. The young man rests his chin upon his crossed, gloved hands. He looks tired, but satisfied as he takes a break from his gardening and leans upon a long-handled gardening tool. The young man wears practical and sturdy medieval-style clothes in earthly shades of green, yellow and brown that are suitable for working in a garden. The sky behind him is blue, clear and fair, and the surrounding landscape is green and lush. All of the effort, time and work the young man has put into the care of this plant are paying off. The gardening tool that he leans upon could be a shovel buried in the soil or a hoe hidden in the lush grass. Either way, it is to remind you that you have many tools available to you in your quest for success and prosperity. It's time to choose the best tool for the task. Take it out. This is just too funny. So I'm taking sex toys. Okay. I'm just here to be honest with you guys of what comes through. So it's like we've gone back to the sex talk now. Oh my. It's time to choose the best tool for the task, take it out and put it to use. Too funny. Invest in yourself. All of your efforts and hard work will bear wonderful fruit, just as this young gardener's has. Oh, dearie me. Meaning, when the Seven of Pentacles sprouts up in a reading, it speaks of rewards after hard work. This is the card of harvest. The rewards were well worth all the effort you put into your goals and projects. The Suit of Pentacles is linked to material wealth, and it is also the suit of manifestation. Now is the time to sit back, take stock of what you have accomplished, and enjoy the fruits of your labours. Enjoy the satisfaction of a job well done. Keywords: harvest, reaping the fruits of your labours, satisfaction of a job well done, appreciation, hard work equals abundant rewards. I'm going to have a look and see what the crone energy is telling us here. It is called the 4 elements spread, the next one. Oh, okay, let's focus on this. She's just above that. That's the thing. On this page here, it's page number 268. It says the crone shows you the outcome and your karma. The things that are unseen and what you may be unaware or afraid to face. And then underneath that it starts with the 4 elements spread. Earth and water, air and fire, wand, pentacle and sword. Where's the cups? Cups. Earth and water, air and fire, wand, pentacle and sword. Well, that's interesting. We'll get back to that another day. Let's carry on with this. The crone shows you the outcome and your karma. The things that are unseen and what you may be unaware of or afraid to face. Next card, please. Oh, the 10 of Pentacles. So we've already had this card and we've already read it, haven't we? Passing on this knowledge. It's the grandfather energy coming through here. This really feels like the masculine, like using like the divine feminine as a channel for him to, it's like through her he's doing amazing work, and I believe it's vice versa. So let's look at this final card, because I would really like to get wrapped up and get gone for this evening. And it's been a good productive day, even more productive than when I had done the first reading. So final card please for this goddesses spread. The 2 of Swords. That's interesting. First time we've seen the feminine in all of those 9 cards. And I know they're under the 3 feminines here, the maiden, the mother, the crone. We have the 2 of Swords. Now just looking at the card, it's the feminine here. She has blue bangles around her wrists, wristbands, and she has her arms crossed over her heart, and she's holding swords, and she's blindfolded. And then there's the moon. But the moon in this picture that's behind her is a little bit slimmer, okay, than the moon in the crone card. Let's look at this. It looks like 2 fairies are tired here. They're like draped over, they're tired. So this could be a detachment energy. Let's read the 2 of Swords. A woman with straight brown hair and bangs. In England, that would be called a fringe. Well, I think they call them bangs as well, but I would call it a fringe. Sits on a stone bench in front of a calm lake at twilight. It must be getting on for that now. When's twilight? Is it like midnight, or is that just midnight? When's twilight? Pretty mountains are seen in the distance. A crescent moon hangs low in the twilight sky. The woman is blindfolded and her arms are crossed over her chest. That's interesting, because I said they're over her heart, and asked where the cups was, which indicates love, emotions in the tarot deck. And it mentioned earth, wind, water, fire, pentacles, wands and swords. It's like, where's the cups? So where's the heart? The woman is blindfolded and her arms are crossed over her chest. Her hands are at her shoulders as if she is protecting her heart. There you go. Or closing herself off. She wears a flowing gown of ivory with sky blue trim. While she is intense and on guard, she is no victim. She is keenly aware of her surroundings. By wearing a blindfold, she is calmly relying on her other heightened senses to alert her to danger. Her sleeves are tightly fitted at the wrist. This is really bizarre because I've been picking up this reversal of energy, as in the masculine is now behaving like the feminine originally did, and the divine feminine, that's interesting, is acting like the divine masculine originally did. It's like a role reversal. If you notice, first time round I said the masculine is acting like the feminine, and I said then the divine feminine is acting like the divine masculine. So it's quite amazing, really. So I feel this energy here because I resonate with all that masculine energy. Well, yeah, not really. Well, I do to some, like with the coven and the helping out and helping. I just resonate with helping this masculine energy, but I would have maybe assumed that this was going on the masculine side of things, and then it happens for me, and we know that I'm a divine feminine with a divine masculine incorporated energy. So to end with this feminine card here, because I feel she's directing energy, and that's what I feel the masculine's doing, is directing it, but through the feminine, or whatever vessel, whoever's more in there. Well, whoever knows what energy. We are a blend of both, aren't we? But I do feel that the counterpart is using the other one as a vessel, like kind of directing through feathers, signs, synchronizations, whatever matches up to your vibration. They're very attuned, and you're out there doing good work. Okay, so the Two of Swords. While she is intense and on guard, she is no victim. She is keenly aware of her surroundings. By wearing a blindfold, she is calmly relying on her other heightened senses to alert her to danger. Her sleeves are tightly fitted at the wrist, which keeps her hands free for handling the swords. She is ready to strike out if necessary. I feel like the divine masculine here is there. He's here, he's there, and everywhere to step in when he feels it's necessary. So where you are on location. She is ready to strike out if necessary. The woman is depicted at twilight because she is at an in-between state. Her back is to the moon and to the water to illustrate that she has turned away from her emotions. That explains the missing cups. It's a state of detachment, really. Or at least shut them down for a time. Small clumps of the herb lavender grow on either side of the stone bench. In the language of flowers, lavender symbolises distrust, which is appropriate for this woman. Also, the herb lavender is associated with the element of air and is very protective when grown in a witch's garden. Two fairies hover above the lavender, one on either side of the woman. Interestingly, the fairies face the water. Like I said, they're drooped over. I felt they were tired. Perhaps they're helping to watch her back. That's interesting. There's the energy of the divine masculine knowing that the divine feminine, she must be tired doing it all alone. He doesn't want you to do it all alone. So it's like he's energetically, which makes complete sense. He will be there in energy, in spirit, and then the physical catches up. Let's look at the meaning of this card. When this card turns up in a reading, it is a warning that you have blocked off your heart and emotions and are holding in your feelings. You are literally refusing to see what is right in front of you, which is like the crone, the maturest energy here. Your heart says one thing while logic says another. The water in this card represents your emotions and the repression of them. Just as a woman has turned her back on her feelings, you need to be aware that you are blocked and have closed yourself off. You may think you have balance, but there is no resolution. Take a careful look at both sides of the situation. Consider your options. Boundaries are a positive thing, but do not shut yourself off from others. Be like the water and the swords in this card. Stay calm and reflect like the water while you work through this. And be balanced like the swords as you work for equilibrium and understanding. So I feel very much the Divine Masculine. You are in an in-between state here. But you're very powerful within your intention of being like a leader, a ruler, being able to direct energy. You may not be aware that you're doing it, but the stories clarify, don't they, that this is occurring. So the key words, the heart and mind, are not in agreement. Putting up unhealthy boundaries, holding in your true feelings, and working for balance of heart and mind, and considering your options. Let's finish with a sacred spirit reading card, another one. So the first one was align your universe, navigate distractions. It's like there's work to be done. Okay, I have the card, but I'm drawn to read from the Goddesses Never Age book again. Interesting, how to avoid food addiction. Are you a sugar addict? I kind of have to put my hand up to this one. I'm a bit of a sugar addict. A sugar, fat and white flour craver. Oh, a sugar, fat and white flour craver. Or are you addicted to a different type of treat? Notice the foods that sing to you, the ones you're tempted to overeat. One of my friends recently posted on Facebook that she was finally facing up to her chocolate addiction. Okay, so this is most definitely, what do you find to be a treat, Divine Masculine? What's your addiction? Cool. The kind of being able to, the kind, it is a kind energy because you're addicted to the Divine Feminine, but you need to learn how to bring this into balance. Okay, and there's a lot of talk about being face to face, facing your addiction. So one of my friends recently posted on Facebook that she is finally facing up to her chocolate addiction. She is realising that when it comes to chocolate, she can't eat it in moderation, whether it's organic cocoa nibs or a chocolate bar. She knows that the only answer is to go cold turkey and never eat it again. Okay, announcing it publicly is helping her gain the support she needs to stick to her decision. I think there's a difference between giving up chocolate and then giving up sex, because it wants to be spoken about. Let's have a look at this card. Open intuition and seek clarification. Card number 29. I'm looking through the wrong book because I'm trying to put together that message about you've taken like a vow of celibacy. It's like the beginning of that reading was, it's like you don't need to really cut yourself off to anything that's available or offered to you. It's all about the moderation. 29. Seek clarification and possible misinterpretations now. I think so, because it can be, this reading was about not being able to trust your own guidance, so kind of tapping into the goddess energy to be able to guide you and help and assist you and nurture you. So, but it feels like there's a statement that's made and we will read it a certain way. We could read this energy, it really depends on the state of mind that you're in and what fears that you have. Okay, so it's like giving up chocolate for life. But does that mean that I need to give up sex for life? And that's how you interpret it. Where it could just be, maybe you just need to give up chocolate as a sign. Now's the time to give up chocolate. Why? I don't know why. Don't question that. So intuition is the inner voice of the soul, opening our intuitive channels and trusting the messages that we receive can be challenging in the beginning. Not knowing how to interpret these vibes can lead to confusion. For are you really listening, or is it just your imagination? You are already intuitive. Think about the times you have felt, heard, or just known about events or insights about others or places. Those gut feelings are your primary mechanism for this natural base instinct. My belly really is rumbling here. It might seem daunting at first, but opening your intuition can be performed in a variety of ways. Being open and trusting is the start. Meditation, visualization, or connecting to your angels or guides to assist in these processes can significantly increase your sensory perception and accuracy of vision. Over time, you may have always felt there is a force guiding you in life. You may have had a near-death experience or had to face your own mortality abruptly. These moments can trigger a forceful opening that can be challenging to comprehend and understand if you have had no prior awareness of them. You may be experiencing unexplained headaches, migraines, or sinus complaints. This area around your third eye and crown chakra is currently stagnant or blocked and needs to be balanced. Right now, you must learn to decipher this internal guidance. You are receiving many messages, but are misinterpreting their meaning. Focus on clearing your mind and resetting your psychic antenna. Remain open to receiving signs and messages as you continue to build your skills with clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, and claircognizance. Keep an intuitive journal and record those vibes or premonitions you feel you receive. Observe these moments without judgment. Reflection will bring you confidence and help you understand and configure your interpretations of symbols, signs, and verbal messages. The shadow aspect, misinterpretation, disorder, and manipulative. Okay, your affirmation. I am an open channel for my soul to seek its guidance. And I think we should wrap it up there because the house is becoming a little bit noisier as everybody is coming upstairs because it's late and I suppose it's bedtime. And so my daughter and her partner, it sounds like they're off to bed now. And we shall do the same. Guys, I will catch up with you soon. Until then, take care. This was an interesting day, wasn't it? Okay, much love. Bye for now.